Hello students, in this video lecture I am going to demonstrate the implementation of program for binary tree traversal both using array and linked list. We completed the discussion of the binary tree traversal algorithm using recursion. Now we are going to see how we can convert that algorithm into a program. So before discussing the logic of the program, let's try to conceive a formula for representing the binary tree. So the first step in converting an algorithm of binary tree traversal into a program is we should be able to represent the binary tree in the program. After that we can think about the traversal. Let's consider this as a sample tree. So here is a binary tree. We can see that there are different number of nodes available. So there is a root, and then there are lot of parent nodes, and some parent nodes have got 2 children and some have got 1 child, and there are also 3 leaf nodes. So now we have to store this into an array. First we are going to discuss about the array implementation, and from that we will be evolving the linked list program. See, actually you can find a lot of programs on the implementation of binary tree traversal both using array and linked list in the internet. But I have actually implemented the simplest version of that particular program. So you will easily understand the implementation if you just follow my discussion. So I'm going to store the entire binary tree into an array. It can be simply done like this. I can just store the elements like this. So starting from the root 15, 11, 26, 8. So which means I am just going in this order: 15, 11, 26, 8, 12, 20, 30, 6, 4, 6, 15 and 35. And you should also note that wherever there is a missing child, I have put 0 in that place. So basically I am actually conceiving this array as a complete binary tree where all the nodes are occupied. So whenever the node is not having any actual child, I am just storing 0 there, so that the array is still equivalent to a complete binary tree. So the number of elements are equivalent to the number of nodes as for a complete binary tree. So this is a sample representation which I have done using an array. But now the challenge is that when you write the algorithm, how do we know which one is a parent and which one is a child? For example, the parent 11 is at 2 and its left child is at 4 and its right child is at 12. Similarly, the parent 8 only has a left child which is at index 8. So how I can relate these two? How I can say that the parent which is at index 4 is having its left child at index 8 and it does not have a right child. So that is where we have to identify some kind of a formula so that we can simplify the algorithm. So the formula is just this. We are going to consider that the parent, if the parent is at the ith index, then its left child can be found in the index 2i, 2 multiplied by I, and similarly its right child can be found at the index of 2i plus 1. So I think you can check this this array. It will properly fit into this logic. So for example, if you take 11, 11 is at index 2. So its left child must be found at 2 into I, which means 2 into 2. So 4. So you can see index 4 contains its left child. Similarly, 2i plus 1 means 2 into 2 plus 1, 5. So index 5 have got its right child. Similarly, if you check 8, so 8 is at index 4, so its left child has to be available at 2 into 4, 8. So you can see 6 at index 8. Similarly, we should be finding 0 at the index where its right child should have been stored. So 2i plus 1 means 2 into 4 plus 1, 9. So at 9 we are having 0. So this is a simple way by which we can represent the binary tree using an array. So now what is left is just implementing the algorithm in the form of a C program. Now let us see how we can convert that into a C program. The first step in the program is going to be introducing the or including the using namespace std and the header file, and after that I need to have the array for representing that particular binary tree. So I'm just using this particular okay, so we have to declare an array with the size so the example size was 15, okay, and in fact it is 16, so there were 15 nodes, so I need to declare the array to be of size 16. And see, for the convenience of this logic, I'm going to use the array only from index 1. So I will be keeping that index 0 as dummy, and I will use only from index 1. That is because when I calculate 2i plus 1, the value of when you multiply 2 with I 0, it will only become 0. So it will be pointing to itself as its left child. So I have to start using the array only from index 1. So the first 0th index is going to be assigned 0 as a dummy value, and then I will be filling the actual so I'm using the same example. So 15, and then 11, after that 26, 8, 12, 20, 30, 6, 0, 0, 14, 0, 35. So I have just initialized the binary tree array with all the 15 data as for the given example we took. The next step is converting that logic. So we need to implement the traversal function. So I have got the I have already implemented the function. So I'm just pasting it here. So what you see here is that this is a traversal function which is going to be doing the traversal, and so the first condition is I need to see there are nodes which have, okay, ignore the 0th node. So there are nodes which don't have either left child or which don't have the right child. So in that case I have filled them with the zeros. So I should not do the traversal of those nodes. I should not print 0 in the output. I must only print nodes that actually exist. So to avoid the non-existing left or right child, I am checking this condition. So if binary tree of I equal to 0, then without printing, the control will return to the previous statement. Similarly, if the value of I exceeds 7, okay, 7 in this case has to be 15, 16, okay. So in that case it goes out of the array range. So these two conditions will be checked, and only if the current node is not having a true for any of these conditions, it will come to the next statement. So either if it is a non-existing left or right child like this one or this one, or we are having the current I value is outside 16, that is more than 16, in that case the return statement will be triggered, and the return statement actually this condition actually acts as the base case for our algorithm. So you know that base case is the one that stops the recursive call. If you do not have a base case in the recursive logic, then it will become infinite recursive call. So you need to have a base case in any recursive implementation, and in our implementation this becomes the base case. And after that we have to print the data, which is 15, 11, 26 and so on, and then we have to do the traversal of the left child and the traversal of the right child. And here we have got three options. One is printing the data ahead of the left and right child traversal, printing the data in between the left and right child traversal, and printing the data after the two traversal. So you know very well that each one has got a name: pre-order traversal, in-order traversal, and post-order traversal. So let me try the in-order traversal. So in that case, I have to just place the printf statement in between the two traversal, and the reason for this statement is, I think you are aware of that, 2i represents the left child of ith node. So at any instance of the execution, when we are dealing with the ith node, then its left child has to be available in 2 into I, and its right child must be present in 2 into I plus 1. If they are not present, then it will be 0, it will be found to be 0, and the control will automatically return. So in this way we can implement the traversal function equivalent to the traversal algorithm we studied. And the next step is simply the main function, where I just make a call to the traversal function by passing the address of the root node. So that 1 is actually the index of the root node. So once I pass this, then control will come to this function, and it will go into each and every node until it completes a traversal of all the nodes. So the program will terminate at the end. So this program can be tested. Okay, so I can see the traversal of the nodes as per the output. So this array implementation is actually the simple one. So we have already completed that, but I just want to modify one step in this particular program. See, here I have given an array which is initialized. Okay, so this array has been initialized with the values, which means that this program will only be useful for getting the output for that particular binary tree which we had seen in the previous slide. Okay, so but ideally a program must work for any binary tree as per the user choice. So we should not fix it. So when you initialize the array with the set of values, then it becomes a program meant for a particular binary tree. So I want to generalize the program. So I want to take user input as a binary tree. So what should I do? For that, I need to implement an insert function. Okay, or in other words, I need to construct the binary tree dynamically within the program instead of giving the binary tree before the compilation of the program through initialization. So how do I do it? I have conceived a very simple logic by which we can accomplish it. So you just think of the pre-order traversal. You know very well the idea of pre-order traversal. So in a pre-order traversal, what happens is that you first reach the root node, and from the root you go to the left child of the root, and then if that node has another left child, then it will go to that left child until it reaches the lowest level, and then it will go to the right child of the last node, and then it will come back to the root, and so in this way it will progress. See, I can use this particular logic for the construction of the binary tree also. The same logic will also work for constructing the binary tree, because that is what exactly I need. I want to first add data for the root node, then I want to add data for its left child, then I want to add data for the right child. So in this way I want to construct. So I just have implemented a simple logic by which we can insert. I'm just going to paste the function I have already implemented. So this is called insert nodes function. So I no longer need to initialize the So what happens here is that you can see that this logic very clearly resembles the pre-order traversal. Okay, so that is the simple way you can think of logic. So you should not try to develop different logics for different situations. You must try to reuse an existing logic so that it is easier for you to remember. So if you remember the pre-order traversal, then you can also implement the insert nodes function. So here also I need to change it to 16. So now if I run the program, okay, and also I need to make a change here. If I now run the program, it will first construct the binary tree. Okay, and let me also show you the screen of the output. You can see the output screen right now. So it is asking for the node values, and this is the tree for which I am going to give the input, and I also have got the array representing that particular tree. So I am going to enter the nodes one by one. So first parent 1, that is root value is 15. Next node 2 having 11. Then it is asking for 4, which is 8. See, just by observing the array I am giving the input, so I don't need to look at the tree anymore. I just have to enter these values here. So index 8 having 6. Index 16 doesn't exist in the program, so I will just enter 0. 17 also not there, and 9 0. Index 5 12. Index 10 0. Index 11 14. 22 again it doesn't exist, so I'm going to give 0. 23 0. Index 3 26. Index 6 20. Index 12 0. Index 13 0. Index 7 30. Index 14 15 35 30 0. 31 0. So the output shows the traversal. I think it is we did for pre-order traversal. So let's check whether the output is correct for pre-order traversal. So 15 11 8 6 and then 12 14 26 20 30 35. So the program now works perfectly. So we could get to see the output of pre-order traversal, and if you just rearrange the traversal statements under the output statement, you will see the output of both the in order and post order. So if this works, then they are also going to work. So we have just completed the implementation of the binary tree traversal using array, and so now the program has been improved that you can give any binary tree as input. So if I want to change this binary tree, then I just have to give the input as for the new binary tree. For that the easier way is to first to manually construct that array and then give the input as for the index number. So this program will produce the traversal result. Now the next challenge is how to conceive the program for the traversal using linked list. So again, my suggestion is that do not think completely new. Try to modify the array implementation with the minimal changes to make it into a linked list implementation. So that is the easier way for us to implement a program. I'm just going to do that. We are now going to complete the implementation of the program using linked list. So what type of linked list is needed for this implementation? Whether we need to go for single linked list or double linked list. Single linked list is more economical because we only have one pointer in each node, whereas double linked list takes more amount of memory since it has got two pointers. So we have to carefully decide whether a particular problem requires a double linked list. Otherwise, we must always opt for single linked list. And in this particular situation, we have to go for double linked list, because in the binary tree, a node can have two children. It's a left child and a right child. So we need two pointers in each node, so that we can connect both to the left child and to the right child. So we are going for double linked list implementation. And now I am going to the node declaration. So we are going to implement the structure of the node representation. For that I have already got the code. So the structure is going to be having three elements, which is the value or the data that is going to be stored inside the node, and it's a f-link pointer and a b-link pointer. These two pointers we are already having in the double linked list. And now I am going to treat the f-link as representing the right child, and b-link to be connected with the left child. So in each node there will be one pointer connected to the left child, which is called as the backward pointer or the b-link pointer, and one pointer connected to the right child, which is referred as the forward link pointer. And there is a head declared here. So let us just recall that the head is the most important pointer of the linked list. So it always points to the first node in the list. It is with the help of the head you can initiate the traversal of the linked list. So that is declared here. And the next step is completing the insert algorithm. So that is where the most difficult challenge comes, because in an array the insertion simply happens based on that formula I 2i 2i plus 1. But that is not going to be working with the linked list, because the nodes are going to be in random order. In terms of memory allocation, an array always gets the memory in proper order. So it is always in sequence, consecutive order. But that is not the case with the linked list. Each node can get the memory from anywhere. So it's not going to be in order. So we have to think in a different way how to accomplish this. So let us try to logically think about it, and then we can go into the implementation. So what I want to happen is that, let's say you are trying to insert the first node into the linked list. Okay, we are trying to insert the first node into the linked list, and by the time the head would be null. So when no node exists, the head is obviously null. So when I insert the first node, I want head to be pointing to that particular node, and it is neither going to be a left child or a right child. The first child is actually the parent or the root, so it does not have any integrity. There won't be any parent for the root node. So we don't need to bother about filling the f-link or b-link before the root node. So we just have to assign head to that new node, that's all. And once the root has been inserted, then we have to consider the possibility of left or right. So when the second node has to be inserted, we need to know whether the new node has to be left child or right child, because we have to insert that new node either with the f-link pointer or with the b-link pointer, depending upon whether it is a left child or right child. So that we have to somehow find out that whenever a new node is being inserted by the user, we have to find out whether it is going to be a left child or right child. And let's say it is a left child, then what should be done? We have to then assign that particular address of the new node to the b-link pointer. Similarly, if it is a right child, then we have to assign it to the f-link pointer. So one of this will happen. For every new node inserted, either it will be connected to the f-link or it will be connected to the b-link. And what about the situation that you want to end that insertion, that is a leaf node, you have reached a leaf node for which there is no child. So in that case, how can we specify that? We can retain that idea we had used in the array, that is 0. So whenever the value is 0, we are assuming that it is a leaf node, so there is no child for that particular node. And we can just use the same idea here. When the user enters the values, whenever the value is 0, that means it indicates that it is a leaf node. So we will stop the insertion up to that particular node, then we will go back to the previous node and we will try to insert the right child, and in this way the program will progress. And we can just use the insert recursive call in this implementation also. So that will work in linked list also, the recursive approach which we followed in the array implementation. But what argument we pass is going to be different. So we can't pass 2i plus 1 in the linked list. Instead, we need to pass the address of the B link when you want to traverse in the left child, and when you have to pass F link address when we want to traverse in the right node address. Okay, so that is what the changes are needed, and I am going to show you the implementation based on those changes. So this is the code, the modified insertion code. I will show you the differences and the similarities. So the I value is passed here also. Okay, even though it is not needed anymore in the linked list implementation, because here we don't follow the 2i plus 1, but I am still keeping it for the convenience of input. So when I run the program, I want to I want the program to ask the user for which node the value has to be given, whether it is for the first node, second node, third node, or a node which is not part of the tree. So that is very helpful while entering the values. So for that purpose, I am just keeping this I argument. Otherwise, it is not necessary for the logic of the function. And this will tell whether the new node is supposed to be inserted as a left child or the right child. As I just pointed out, we have to either link the new node with the F link or B link, and for that we need to know whether it's a left child or right child. So that is what conveyed with this argument. So we will make use of it to link that node to the appropriate pointer. And the last is the address of the node. Okay, see, for if you are inserting the first node, then it's a null, that is head. You are going to be passing head. But subsequently, when you are trying to insert new node, you will be passing the last parent which you inserted, so that we can insert the child for that particular parent. So the parent will always be representing the address of the most recent parent or the last node that you inserted into the binary tree, and it's a recursive. And so the logic starts with taking input for the value. So the user will enter a value for the parent, and as I told you, it can be 0, which means it is a leaf node. So that is checked here. If the value happens to be 0, then we don't need to insert any new node into the tree, because it is a leaf node. So we just assign null to that value. We just assign null to that pointer and cause the return statement. Okay, otherwise, that is, if the value is not equal to 0, then it requires a insertion of a new node. So that is which means it is a non-leaf node, and it's a parent which has a child. Then we are going into the next statement. We create a new node using this statement. After that we are okay, and this is a typical C++ dynamic memory allocation statement. And then we are putting the data which was entered by the user into the data field of the node, and we are just temporarily assigning null value to both B link and F link. It may be altered in the subsequent execution. If, let's say, if the node contains the left child, then its backlink will be modified, whereas if it has a right child, then its F link will be modified. If it has both left and right, then both of them will be replaced. But initially it is null, and after that I am checking whether the new node has to be inserted as the left child or as the right child. So that is what is checked here. If child is given, the argument of the child variable is L, then it will be inserted into B link. Okay, whereas if it is right child, then it will be inserted into F link. So the new node gets inserted into either of these two pointers, and this else part executes only once when you are inserting the first node into the linked list, that is root node. Once the root node is inserted, this statement will never be executed in the program, and so by then we would have completed the insertion of the new node. So so either we would have inserted the first node like this, or we would have inserted a left child or right child. So one of them would have happened, and after that we need to continue this recursion. So that for that purpose we are copying the address of the new node as the parent and passing it to the function, and while doing so we are passing the arguments in first call as left and second call as right, which means this is for the insertion of left child of the current parent, and this is for the insertion of the right child of the current parent. So the once again the recursive call will will start, and the execution will commence again for this function, and now it will ask you to enter the value of the parent. If you enter 0, then it will conclude that there is no left child for this parent, and it will try to check whether it has any right child. So a recursive call will be made for the right child, and for that also if you enter 0, then it is treated as a leaf node and no insertion will happen for that particular node, and the null value will be assigned to that pointer. And so this is how the insert logic works. And once we have completed the insert, then the traversal is actually a simple change is needed from the tree traversal. We just have to change the indexes into pointers, since it is now a linked list. So again I am checking whether okay, and what will be the value of the parent is, the parent will be passed with the address of the head node. As we have seen, that traversal of a linked list always comes from the head only. So we will be passing the address of the head to this pointer, which is compared with null. If it is null, that means it is going to end. In case if it is not null, then it will proceed to the next line, where we will start the traversal of the left child of that parent, and then we will print the value, and then we will be carrying out the traversal of the right child. And basically this is in order traversal, and that's why we are traversing the left child followed by printing the value of the current node and then traversal of the right child. So this is a typical traversal algorithm, recursive based. The only difference is that instead of 2i we have got a B link pointer, and instead of 2i plus 1 we have got a F link pointer. And here the printing statement have got the arrow operator, since we are printing the data with the help of a pointer. So it requires this operator, and this is the traversal algorithm. And the final step is completing the main function. In main function also not much change needed. We are just going to have a similar head main function. So insert nodes, the function insert node is called here, and we are passing 3 arguments. One indicates that we are inserting the first node or the root node, and this x is just a dummy value. As I told you, the parent the root node does not have a parent. It is the first node in the entire binary tree, starting point of the binary tree, so it won't have a parent. So we don't need to say whether it's left child or right child. So we are just giving some dummy value x, which is neither L or not R. That's all. This value can be anything. This character can be anything other than L and F, R. So now, and also we are passing the head, which is actually null at the moment. So when the execution commences for this function, these arguments will be filled with 1, x and address of the head and null value. And so we have to enter the value for the first node, and let's say we are entering a non-zero value, then it will create a new node and then assign this value into that particular node, followed by assignment of the head to that particular node. So head will begin to point to that new node, and after that it will ask for the left child of the parent, the root node, and then it will take the value, and the value will be inserted as I explained to you. And this will go on till you complete the construction of all the binary tree, and after that the program will come to the traversal part, and the traversal will commence from the head node. So this is how the overall execution of the program takes place. And so we have to now check whether the program successfully works for providing the result of the traversal. So we have to test for the traversal based on in-order traversal algorithm. If it works for in-order, then we can assume that it will work for the other two also. This is the output screen. So it is asking for entering the nodes, various nodes. See, you can see that the output screen resembles the array implementation. That is why I retained the arguments of 2i and 2i plus 1. So I can match the input with this particular array. So first parent 1. So parent 1 is 15, and then parent 2, which is 11, parent 4 is 8, parent 8 is 6, parent 16 is out of the array range. So I mean it's not there in the array binary tree, so it is 0. 17 also is 0, 9 0, 5, 12, 10 0, 11, 14, 22 0, 23 0, 3, 26, 6, 20, 12 0, 13 0, 7, 30, 14 0, 15, 35, 30 0, 31 0. So the traversal output is for the in-order traversal. So let us check whether we have got the output correctly. So okay, manually if you evaluate the traversal result, from 15 we will come to 11, from 11 we come to 8, and 8 to 6. So 6 should be printed. After 6 we will be printing the parent. So 8 is printed, and there is no right child, so we will print 11. So 11 is printed. Then we go to the left child of 11, and then there is no left child for 12, so it is 12 is printed, and after 12 its right child is printed. Remember, we are evaluating for in-order traversal. So from 14 it comes to 15, and 15 is printed, and then it goes to 20, 20 printed, 26 printed, 30 printed because it doesn't have a left child, and from 30 it prints 35. So we have got the output correctly for the in-order traversal, and we will also get the output for pre-order and post-order just by changing the program slightly. So this is the implementation of linked list based binary tree traversal. So we have completed the discussion of both the array based implementation and also the linked list based implementation, and I also explained you a new logic for inserting nodes into a binary tree, that is constructing a binary tree using recursion, and that particular logic was just inspired by the pre-order traversal. And also we implemented the traversal of an insert logic for the linked list, just by making necessary changes. I just request everybody to once again go through the program, try to understand the logic of the program, and if you get doubts, you do not hesitate to clarify, because we have got a lot of tree based algorithms are coming in the syllabus. So this is the first algorithm, that is binary tree traversal. But after that we have got a lot of algorithms based on binary tree. So the construction of the binary tree using linked list will be needed in all the programs. So thoroughly understand this so that we can just reuse this logic in all other implementations. Thank you.